Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about another problem, which is watch fragments. Alright, so say we have a clock, which is an analog clock, and what I mean by analog is basically you have these numbers printed on them, like 12, 1, 2, and so on, and you must have seen this in probably one of your homes or offices or wherever. Say basically it breaks into three pieces, okay, and for whatever reason basically it broke into three pieces. And what's interesting is basically they broke in such a way is that the sum of the numbers on each piece are equal. So what that basically means is, let's say you had piece 1 and it had certain numbers on it, and if you add them up, let's say it comes up with number x, and then you had another piece, the second piece, and if you added the numbers on that piece, the number still added to the same number, which was the sum of the numbers on the first piece, again the x, and similarly on the third piece. Okay, so we got to find out these three pieces. So you got to break this watch, which you see on your screen, in a way so you could have, say, a piece 1 like this, and then second piece like this, and something like this. Third piece. This is one of the examples it could be, or it could be something different. It could be something like this. It was the first piece, and the second piece was something like this, and the third piece was like this. So you got to find out the three pieces in a way so that basically this equation, the sum of the numbers on each piece is equal, is satisfied. All right, so now let's get started. And before we get further into the problem, if you have been liking my content so far, I would highly appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel if you have not done so far, and also like and comment on the videos how your experience has been, and it highly helps the algorithm to pick up those videos and also motivate me further to do more. Okay, so let's get started with the solution. So what we have here is basically this is more, I would say, it's not a probability-based question, and it's more of, I would say, logic-based and a little bit of, I would say, art and science here. So you gotta have some trial and error, and let's see if we can come up with, these three pieces. But one interesting thing which we can naturally compute is we gotta find out the sum of all these numbers, and we have to split it into three because we have three pieces, and the sum of the numbers on these three pieces are equal. Let me just say what I'm talking about. So let's say you have, on a watch, you have numbers like 1 plus 2 plus 3 all the way till 12. And if you don't know, there's a formula of the sum of the integers starting with 1 like this. So it's 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus all the way till n minus 1 plus n, where n is some positive integer. Again, positive integers are basically 1, 2, 3, the natural numbers. Okay, the sum of all these numbers is basically n into n plus 1. So I'm sure you must have known this formula. If not, that's perfectly fine. Just it's what I call as a summation of series formula with the basic formulas, and something to keep in mind and remind yourself if you've forgotten, having not used this in a while. Okay, we're gonna use this formula, and we know our numbers start with 1, which you can see on the watch right here. Start with 1, 2, 3, and they all get all the way to till 12. So here the sum of the numbers is going to be 12 into 13 by 2, which is 6 into 13, and this turns out to be 78. Okay, so these are all the sum of the numbers on the watch. But we need three pieces, and the sum of the numbers on those three pieces have to be equal, so we have to divide by 3. So sum of the numbers on each piece is got to be sum of all the numbers on clock and divide by 3. So this has got to be 78 by 3, and this is 26. Okay, so what we get so far is we got to have the pieces in such a way that each piece, the numbers add up to 26. Now this is very important because this helps us to eliminate or identify if our pieces we're finding are correct or not. So the other thing is basically we will have three pieces here. So I'm just going to denote them by P1, P2, P3. Okay, similarly P3 is nothing but piece 3. Okay, and what we know is the sum of all these, each piece is going to have a number 26. Okay, so sum of numbers on P1 is going to be 26, sum of numbers on P2 is going to be 26, and so on. Now so this is an interesting problem. Now let's try to give it a first try here, and let me just bring back the watch that we had created before. So here's it again. So let me just do a little bit of trial and error. But before that, I think now is a good time to pause the video and take it from here, because I've already given a hint. And in case now you think you can crack this problem, I think just give it a shot. So pause the video and you can be back in a second. Okay, so I hope you got the answer, but that's fine if you didn't. Let's see how we can do this. And if you got it, that's great. Let's just hang out till the end of the video to see if you got it right. Okay, so let me just do a first few trial attempts. So let me just take this. Let's see, what do we get from here? So if you add up the numbers, it's 10 plus 11, which is 21, and plus 12, which is again 33. So this is, anyways, if you take this piece, first piece, the sum is 34, if I'm not wrong. So it's 13 and 21. Yeah. So it's 34. So this is definitely not true because we know our sum has to be 26. And naturally, if you have 34 here, the other pieces are going to fall short on the sum of the numbers. So this is not true. Okay, that's fine. Let's try something else. Let's try a different direction. Maybe, how about, let's take all these small pieces here and see how far we get from here. So if you had a piece, something like this, how much does it add up to? So it's 1 to 7, so it's 7 into 8 by 2. So that's 28. It's close, but, we can't really get rid of 2 here. So if somebody says, okay, let's just get rid of 2. So how about if we eliminate it like this? So if you think about eliminating numbers like this, what's going to happen is your one piece is going to be like this, right? So that if you say this is piece 1, but then piece 2 has to be this because watch broke and this has to be another piece. And this piece, let's say if it's piece 2, that number, the sum of the numbers here is not 26. So this is not correct piece. So you cannot do stuff like this. So just another way to think about it. If you had been trying this way and you've been trying to eliminate numbers, but this is not going to work out. So we need to try something else. So again, I'll pause the video. I'll suggest you that you pause the video and try different directions. See if you can find out, the right direction to make pieces. And naturally, the pieces have to be in a way that, they have to be 3 pieces. They can't be more than 3. They can't be less than 3. Okay, so I hope you got the answer. But now I'm just going to quickly get into how you actually make these 3 pieces. Okay, so the idea is basically look at 26, and this is, I would say, a little bit of, if you've done this problem before, it becomes easier. I think now it's probably my 3rd time I'm doing this. It's easier for me, but the way to do this is think about forming the pieces in this direction. Okay, so you got to have pieces something like this and this and this. That's the direction to remember. So now let's just try to more precisely adjust what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we know the first piece has to be 26, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how I can get 26 in a direction, which I just said, of something like this. Some sort of this direction. Let's see if we can get this. Okay, so we know that this is 12, this is 11, that's adding up to already 23, and then you have 24 and 26. There we go. So this could be our first piece. So let's try this. So let's say this is our piece 1. Okay, and I mean, you could draw it like this as well to be more precise as per the direction. So this is piece 1, okay? And if you can confirm 11 plus 12 plus 1 plus 2 is 26, okay? All right, so now let's talk about the second piece. The second piece, naturally, if the piece was this, so now you have this remaining watch, which is right here. This was our first piece, so this broke off. Now you have this part of the watch, okay? And you have to think about how you can break this into 2 pieces so that you have each piece having the numbers adding up to 26. So if I look at this, so 10, and I said the direction we have to pursue is this one. So 10, 9, which is 19, and then this is 19 plus 3, which is 22, and 22 plus 4 is 26. So there we go. If you look at this piece here, that could be a piece 2. Let's try this. So this is piece 2, perfect. It does add up because it's 10 plus 9 plus 3 plus 4. Yeah, that's 26. Okay, and then of course final piece has to be 26 because you have 2 pieces which is adding up, which both of them are 26, and we know the sum is 78, so this one has to be 26. But let's just quickly confirm as well. If you look at this, so this is 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5, and again this 15 plus that's 26 as well. Perfect. So we have 3 pieces where we can see that if the watch broke, these are the 3 pieces we should have formed. Okay, and I hope you got the answer right, but if it's not perfectly fine. I know this could be a trick question, and I think the idea is to understand and remember how you do this, because sometimes you could be asked in the interview, and it's hard to do this sometimes under the time constraint and the stress, and I hope you got this right. All right, so in the next video, I'm going to talk about another advanced version of this problem where the watch breaks into 6 pieces instead of 3, so stay tuned for more. Thank you.